All right, I'm gonna save most of the talking for the video because it is a pretty long one today. Um, but I'm back from injury, back climbing, feel really good. Um, and yeah, not much else to say. Enjoy the video. Well, I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel a little bit weird to maybe making one of these again. I feel a little out of my element for sure, but no, it feels good to be documenting my journey again. And yeah, I guess injury is now a part of that journey. So um, yeah, these first couple climbs will just be some easier ones because this was like in my first week back, and my physio had told me like only do climbs that you can down climb, and I wasn't gonna stray off of that advice. So yeah, down climbing all the way. I take a bit of a fall at the end there, but all my weight was on my left ankle. So yeah. Um, so yeah, just a little bit about my injury. I was out for 2 months with an ankle sprain, more specifically torn ligaments on either side of my ankle. Um, and yeah, I mean, like all injuries, it sucked. It was awful, both physically and mentally. Um, in the later stages, the mental aspect was definitely weighing a little bit more heavy on me because not being able to do what I love most was pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie. I had a couple pretty solid breakdowns. But yeah, like I said in the intro, it feels really good to be back. Um, not obviously not climbing quite as hard as I was before my injury, but I'm getting there, and I'm definitely seeing improvement. In terms of my ankle itself, I still am somewhat limited, specifically in terms of like running. I still have a bit of a limp if I'm trying to run, and then range of motion too is still somewhat limited. So, still working on those. I'm gonna. I haven't gone to physio for a couple weeks, but I'm gonna go for a check-in soon, just to to see how it's doing. This is from a gym in Victoria. I went out to visit my brother there for a week at the beginning of May. So this is right around when I started climbing again. So definitely not climbing to my full potential, obviously, in that one. Um, but yeah, it was really nice to get out there. This was actually a hike that we took down to a beach, and there was this really cool kind of standalone boulder there, just this like big rock that you could climb basically all the way around. And obviously, as you could tell there, I didn't have my climbing shoes with me, but I wasn't going to pass up an opportunity to get some climbing in. So didn't even have a crash pad on me either. So hopefully my physio is not watching this because I don't think he'd be too thrilled about that. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I'm back in Ottawa now. This is at Canada, at Altitude Gym in Canada. This move here was huge. Probably the first like real dynamic move that I did since coming back from injury, and felt really good to stick it. Um,
Nice.
and yeah, you can see again. Well, actually, I guess I didn't include it there, but still down climbing as far as I can, um, and yeah, taking precautions, but also allowing myself to take some more risks as well because um, if I want to start climbing as hard as I was before, then um, yeah, I'm gonna need to start kind of experimenting more and putting my body in some more precarious situations. And speaking of that, this one here is pretty dynamic. Like you could see, there was that one cut loose move there, and then I don't think I necessarily needed to go through that middle section without feet, but I thought it felt pretty cool, and those holds are all really good. Um, the top, however, was surprisingly pumpy. Even though the holds are all good, you're coming out of this lip and you've already done quite a few moves, and then that last hold is just kind of the cherry on top. It's not there's like no depth to it. It's very flat, so it's hard to hold on to. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And as you can tell, like I don't think we've done. I don't think I've had a single orange tape so far. Um, so yeah, just kind of working my way back, not going too fast, not doing anything that's too far above my comfort level at this point. I really liked that paddle dyno there because it was a green tape, so obviously a little bit easier, but still, trying to work into some moves that I felt comfortable doing before my injury and maybe feel a little bit less comfortable doing now, but yeah. So this climb here is from a competition that they had at Altitude Canada. It looks like this is number 18. It's a little bit small on my screen. Yeah, I think that's 18. Unfortunately, I didn't get to participate in the comp because I wasn't feeling in tip-top shape, so didn't really feel worth it to go for that, but I got to try some of the boulders afterwards. And this was probably one of my favorites, even though I don't get the send, and I didn't get the send because they reset it before I was able to give it another try. But I really liked that kind of double clutch in the middle there. But yeah, you'll see some more climbs from that competition set later in this video. This is my first time going back to block 9.81 after my injury, and this is, funnily enough, this is basically right where I sprained my ankle. It's just to the left of this, where I fell from the top of the wall. And so, yeah, I was obviously a little bit apprehensive coming back to this gym with the softer mats. And yeah, there was a level of fear for sure, but I was able to overcome that pretty shortly into the session, and I actually turned it into a really good session. So yeah, that slab there was a lot of fun. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Another climb from the competition at Canada. I think this is number 20, if I'm not mistaken. Just these like really shallow disc holds. And you really had to smear on that orange portion with your right foot. I found as much as I could. And then this move here I really liked. It's kind of this dead point while still smearing. And then you're really compressing between those two disc holds. And the feet here were a little tricky. I think I might be dabbing a little bit on that black one, just kind of using my leg on it to pull my body into the wall. So if that doesn't count, then whatever. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm still counting it as a send, FYI. This is number 21 from the competition. I would argue that white one before this was probably slightly harder. But whatever. We all have our... Maybe this is just more my strength, the way that this climb is set here. But yeah, I also liked this one more, I would say. You kind of go out into this right hand and then hit a huge back flag. And then this move here just felt so big, but so cool at the same time. And then, yeah, the match was pretty easy. I think this is my first orange tape that I've gotten on this section of the wall at Altitude Gatineau. I find that they always set harder climbs on this section here. And I don't think I've ever gotten an orange tape here, so this one felt pretty good for that reason. Kind of a dynamic step up there with left flag to cancel the barn door. And then it may not look like it on camera, but this last move is just huge because the hold that my hands were just on there is, I would say, half a pad. That might even be a little bit generous. But it's, they don't give you much to work with there, and then you're going to a jug, but it feels so far. And your feet aren't great either. But I found the beta for that, getting to that crimp there, was to keep my right foot on that hold. Obviously a little easier said than done, but that was really helpful for me, was to just keep that right foot as I went super, super static to it. And then obviously the end is very dynamic, but the last hold's pretty good. Also downstairs at Altitude Gatineau, this is a really short climb, but I love that last move because you have to use your right hand to pull yourself towards that last hold, but you're also grabbing the left hold the other way. So it's kind of like an opposite Gaston move into a double clutch. And I just thought that was really neat. Okay, so this climb here is going to take up the majority of the video. I would say if there's any time to skip ahead in this video, it's probably here. But I wanted to include as many clips of this one as possible because this is, since the pink E that I sent in the last video, the V8, I think this is probably the most excited I've been about a climb in a long time. And also just the biggest, like the longest project that I've had since that one. This might have actually taken me longer, but anyways, yeah. So through this middle section here, you can see I kind of stop on this crimp and try and go out afterwards, and I can get there like reach-wise, but it just didn't feel like, it just felt like every time I stuck that hold, either my right hand would slip off that little kind of bulb hold, or my left hand would slip off the crimp. So you'll see here I try again. I stop on it, then I go straight arm, and then pull up again, and it just doesn't feel great because the foot also slips every time that I try it that way. And so here I'll switch up the beta a little bit because on both of those attempts, I started to feel something, and I felt like I could kind of carry that momentum through and then pull up to it. And you can see immediately, I think that might have been the first time I tried it afterwards, and I stick it. So really, really stoked that that was able to work for me. I didn't see anyone else try it that way, but I definitely recommend that if it suits your, I don't know, body type or strengths. Really like that first cut loose move too. But yeah, using that momentum there really allowed me to get over that right foot and get far enough on that left hand to be secure enough to cut those feet. And then it was here, this was my crux for sure. This is the only attempt that I try for like this Gaston move, and it doesn't feel good at all, so I just basically throw that beta in the trash. It definitely has to be a right hand crossover, and I think you'll see me try that here. Yeah, let's see. And these two, so these two holds to the right, they're not as good as they look. Like they look like they could have a bit of a, like some depth to them, but they're basically like rounded on the other side. So you're not really grabbing into anything. You're more like, almost kind of like palming it a little bit. And you can pinch a little bit, but yeah, they really don't give you much on these two holds. And not to mention at that point, you're just super pumped. So yeah, so this is I guess my third session on it. I think I just had a little pop-up saying it, so it's either third or fourth. But yeah, nothing seems to be working here for me. And then we come to session number 4, and I don't know if you can see it here, but I have some tape on my right hand, or on my right thumb, I think. And because I cut myself at work a couple days before this, and yeah, some frustration there for sure. So yeah, I had to tape up my thumb because I cut it. And it just, yeah, I couldn't pinch that hold well enough to stick it on any attempt. So that was definitely a limiting factor. But once the tape got off, I definitely felt a lot better on it. I think on this one I also had some tape on, maybe my middle finger. I had a blister on my left middle finger, and I don't know if that was this session or not. You can see I get my weight over, almost get the right foot up. Yeah, and then yeah, so finally we come to the inevitable send. Although I guess I shouldn't say inevitable because I actually was not very optimistic that this was going to go, because it had been up for a while, and I actually thought it was going to get reset before I could send it. But sure enough, I'm able to pinch that hold enough, and you can hear just how much it means to me. Give the wall some punches. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, really stoked about that one. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that if you want to send it your hardest, all you have to do is wear a tank top. um, no, but in all seriousness, I think that's maybe the most satisfied I've ever been about a project. Um, this one here is just kind of a classic crimp problem coming out of the cave. Had a lot of fun on this one. Um, yeah, not much to say there. This is a really fun dyno at back at Block 9.81 in Gatineau. You kind of go up to these two crimps on top of this volume, and yeah, it took me a second to get the right like power to be able to generate towards those two crimps. And the top wasn't quite as easy as I thought it would be either. These crimps are like the rest of the crimps are placed at kind of these weird angles, where it forces you to be really intentional about your feet and where your weight is. So I think this is where I stick it. Give it one pump, then two. Stick both hands. Really cool, kind of Superman move there. I don't really have a better name for it, but when your feet kind of come out way behind you there, I'm sure there's a climbing term for that specific move. But yeah, like I was saying, you'll see a couple foot slips here, first with the left and then with the right. So you kind of really got to figure out your weight. And then I found that left flag was really helpful to be able to come in with the right hand, and then kind of figuring out this last hold at the top. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Um, Kind of a weird, awkward dyno here, where you kind of come out of a crouch position and you're really throwing your body at like a wall that comes at you surprisingly quick. Um, but I would say that wasn't even the crux of this one. In my opinion, the crux is right here at the top, where you have to match on this thumb press and really drop your right knee. Unfortunately, you can't see the last hold, but it's a thumb press that's directed towards me, so I'm not like pulling on anything. I'm just pressing with both my thumbs, and you can see my body weight was really coming out of the wall as I was pulling that right thumb over to match. But yeah, that one was really fun. I would honestly probably give that a V7. I think the gym had given it V6, but it felt quite a bit harder than the other V6s that I've done at Block. So yeah, another climb on this kind of half slab at Gatineau downstairs. The same spot that I was talking about earlier, where I got my first orange tape. I guess this would be my second orange tape in this section. But this one felt really good because it was actually a flash. This is my flash attempt on camera, which is pretty rare that I get, because for most climbs that like seem to be either at or just above my limit, I won't record until I feel like I've made some good progress and I kind of have a knowledge of like how the moves feel. But this one I just decided to turn on the camera and kind of play it out from there. And I think it's really interesting to see how I kind of solve this one while I'm on the wall. Because you could see a couple times I went to reach for that right corner there, but it's just so negative that you don't get anything out of it. So instead I kind of just muscle my way through it. And these crimps at the top are maybe like a half pad again, kind of like the other one, but they're basically nothing. So it's really, I thought that one was cool to see me kind of work that one out in real time as I was kind of gunning for my flash burn. Huge move coming out of the lip here. I don't know if you could see it on camera, but I had a bicycle thrown up on those first couple macros at the beginning, which felt pretty neat. and then yeah, you go for this huge throw to this not great hold, but it was at a pretty decent angle. Yeah, that one was super sick. I find at Gatineau there's always a really cool crimp problem put up on this section of the wall, and I always really enjoy doing these ones. This was the end of my session, so definitely a little bit at my limit for how pumped I was at that point, but that one was pretty sick. Another session at Block here. This one has a couple monos towards the top, a couple one-finger pockets. And this move here was surprisingly tricky. I didn't think that the crossover with the right would be as hard as it was, but yeah, I found it really hard to stay on the wall there. Really had to engage my right hand on it. And then, yeah, just moving through this mono here, basically, like I'm pulling, I do have a decent right foot, but in terms of my hand, like I'm only pulling with my middle finger on that hold. And same thing at the top here. I slot my middle finger in because that's all that can fit, and then come into match with it. And I can't say that I've ever really dealt with monos before like that. So that was pretty cool to be able to do that one. This one here, the beginning was okay. Like it was a jump start that was a little bit low percentage, but it was really this top section that was the crux for me. Finding where that right toe hook felt the best was super tricky, and then finally able to get the match because that last hold is so bad. Yeah, that one was quite fun to work on, and it was also the end of my session. Yeah, just kind of speed running some attempts on this campus start. Although actually, I guess the way that I'm doing it's not even really a campus start because I'm smearing a little bit with my right foot. Yeah, you can see I eventually stick it on these kind of weird like dual text holds that I don't think Altitude has, or at least I've never seen them use these holds at Altitude. And then a huge last move. You can see I kind of I bail out a little bit on this attempt, and then shortly after I see this little gray volume to the right of where my right foot was last time, and I figure, you know what, it's closer to that last hold, so why not try it out? So yeah, I keep my left foot on the jib on that black volume, and then I get my right foot up to the gray volume, and chicken out once, and then just give her on the second attempt. And very intentional about not dabbing on that little white jib on the volume there. But yeah, that one was pretty cool to get. Just another crimpy problem here. Me and my buddy Alex, if you're watching this, what's up? We kind of went back and forth on this one. He thought it was V4, I thought it was V6, so I just figured I'd slap a V5 on it. He's probably more right than I am. Like after kind of thinking through it, I'm like, yeah, V6 is definitely a little high. So yeah, we'll stick it at V5 for now. I just think V4 is too low for this one. I think the top is too low percentage for this to be V4. But anyways, that's besides the point. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't know. It felt a little straight, like I don't know. Straightforward feels like the wrong term, but it felt like. I mean, it's just a classic crimp problem, I guess. At the end of the day, so whatever. I'm rambling a little bit. This one, on the other hand, this is like nothing else I've ever seen. That first move there, I don't think I've ever done something like that. Where you kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it. You can basically just like I can't explain it. You like pump your body, and then you got to get a really quick right foot up to make that hand feel good, and then I mean, the foot and the hand are just so negative that going out left feels like almost impossible, especially after spending a lot of time on it. So on this one, a really important note for me was to just like go for it. Like, don't take any time on this pinch. So you can see I get into the foot, get it quick, get that pinch, and then go out right away with my left. And so that was really key for me at unlocking the rest of this one. And then the top was also relatively tricky. That right hand there that I'm on was not good, but the final hold is pretty juggy. So yeah, that was pretty satisfying there. Interesting lâché here. Doing this one kind of made me realize that this move here, like lâchés, are a pretty big weakness of mine. I mean, obviously it is like a comp style move, so you don't really see it set all that often. Uh, but yeah, like that was a green tape, and it took me quite a while to figure it out. So, but honestly, like the rest of the climb was so straightforward that I think V4 is pretty accurate for that one. But I'm not going to drag this out any longer than it needs to be. I just kind of want to wrap up this video by expressing my gratitude for the climbing community, the climbing world as a whole, both the sport and the people within it. I just think it's something that I kind of took for granted when I was like before my injury, and it's something that I really missed when I was out for that couple months there, and probably will take for granted again. I mean, I think that's just kind of how things work. When you do something so often, you kind of forget how important it is to you. But climbing really is something special to me. And I mean, you know, I played several sports growing up, but I've never felt this level of connection in sports or otherwise. And I think climbing is just so unique in its welcoming and uplifting nature. And I just think it's so special how it brings people of different ages, abilities, backgrounds together. Um, and I don't know, it's just something that I kind of wanted to leave this video on for whatever reason. And don't know if I did a great job at articulating it, but yeah, let's leave it there. See you in the next one.